Lesson 39. My holiness is my salvation. If guilt is hell, what is its opposite? Like the text for which this workbook was written, the ideas used for the exercises are very simple, very clear, and totally unambiguous. We are not concerned with intellectual feats nor logical toys. We are dealing only in the very obvious, which has been overlooked in the clouds of complexity in which you think you think. If guilt is hell, what is its opposite? This is not difficult, surely. The hesitation you may feel in answering is not due to the ambiguity of the question, but do you believe that guilt is hell? If you did, you would see at once how direct and simple the text is, and you would not need a workbook at all. No one needs practice to gain what is already his. We have already said that your holiness is the salvation of the world. What about your own salvation? You cannot give what you do not have. A Savior must be saved. How else can he teach salvation? Today's exercises will apply to you, recognizing that your salvation is crucial to the salvation of the world. As you apply the exercises to your world, the whole world stands to benefit. Your holiness is the answer to every question that was ever asked, is being asked now, or will be asked in the future. Your holiness means the end of guilt, and therefore the end of hell. Your holiness is the salvation of the world and your own. How could you, to whom your holiness belongs, be excluded from it? God does not know unholiness. Can it be he does not know his Son? A full 5 minutes are urged for the 4 longer practice periods for today, and longer and more frequent practice sessions are encouraged. If you want to exceed the minimum requirements, more rather than longer sessions are recommended, although both are suggested. Begin the practice periods, as usual, by repeating today's idea to yourself. Then, with closed eyes, search out your unloving thoughts in whatever form they appear: uneasiness, depression, anger, fear, worry, attack, insecurity, and so on. Whatever form they take, they are unloving and therefore fearful, and so it is from them that you need to be saved. Specific situations, events, or personalities you associate with unloving thoughts of any kind are suitable subjects for today's exercises. It is imperative for your salvation that you see them differently, and it is your blessing on them that will save you and give you vision. Slowly, without conscious selection, and without undue emphasis on any one in particular, search your mind for every thought that stands between you and your salvation. Apply the idea for today to each of them in this way: my unloving thoughts about are keeping me in hell. My holiness is my salvation. You may find these practice periods easier if you intersperse them with several short periods during which you merely repeat today's idea to yourself slowly a few times. My holiness is my salvation. My holiness is my salvation. You may also find it helpful to include a few short intervals in which you just relax and do not seem to be thinking of anything. Sustained concentration is very difficult at first. It will become much easier as your mind becomes more disciplined and less distractible. Meanwhile, you should feel free to introduce variety into the exercise periods in whatever form appeals to you. Do not, however, change the idea itself as you vary the method of applying it. However you elect to use it, the idea should be stated so that its meaning is the fact that your holiness is your salvation. End each practice period by repeating the idea in its original form once more and adding, if guilt is hell, what is its opposite? In the shorter applications, which should be made some 3 or 4 times an hour and more if possible. You may ask yourself this question, repeat today's idea, and preferably both. If temptations arise, a particularly helpful form of the idea is, my holiness is my salvation from this. My holiness is my salvation. A Course in Miracles is teaching us to realign, to rejoin with the mind of God, to think as God thinks, and to reawaken to the inherent holiness that is the truth of who we actually are. Remember, our holiness isn't something we have to earn by being very, very good here in the world. It is who we naturally are. God created us holy because He is holy. What was the lesson before? God is in my mind. I'm very holy. God created you. You're an idea in His mind. He is in your mind. You cannot be disconnected in any way. He only creates more of what He is. He is very holy. You are very holy. The only difference between you and God is He created you. You did not create Him. He created you to have all of the attributes of Himself within you. So your holiness is your identity. It is your creative power. It is who you truly are. And we have learned a lot of meaningless stuff that has tarnished our self-perception of who we are in the world. This is where the workbook of A Course in Miracles and other forms of spiritual practice help us to clean up. I'm getting a windshield, like a dirty car windshield or window that you have to spray the cleaner on and then buff it off. There's smudges and dirt that keeps you from seeing truly, from seeing clearly. And spiritual practice, going through these exercises and really applying these principles to your life, helps you to remove that film that's there that keeps you from having clear vision so that you can see with clarity. That truth, the inherent holiness, the beautiful, all-encompassing love that you really are and that you were meant to bring into the world. Your spirit is perfect and ready to shine through clearly and radiate into the world. And when you embrace that, when you identify with that, your holiness is your salvation. My holiness is my salvation. Then you really have this toolkit, this practice to apply across the board in your life to help you see that it's not just your holiness, it's that person's holiness and that person's holiness and this person is holy. It's the identification of everyone. And you start to meet and lead with that recognition in other people. You're not looking for the guilt. If guilt is hell, what is the opposite? Well, that's innocence is heaven. Innocence is liberation. You start to see the innocence and holiness in everyone, not just yourself. And that really is a practical, transformative game changer in your life. Like this lesson says, there would be no need for a workbook if you actually believed what was in the text. So it's one thing to, oh yeah, I get it, see people as innocent, lead with love, forgiveness, but doing it and actually having that transformative alchemy that happens when you experience the shift in your mind and the shift in your heart, when you actually lead with love and consciously choose to see the holiness and innocence in someone, especially when you don't want to, when you are triggered beyond what you think you can manage. That is a miracle, and that's why we practice this. This lesson's exercise says to think about this. My unloving thoughts about such and such situation, so and so person, yourself, are keeping me in hell. My holiness is my salvation. The only thing the Course in Miracles says that you need to be saved from is your insane thinking. What is insane thinking? Not thinking with love, unloving thoughts. The only thing you need to be saved from, the only thing keeping you in hell is unloving thoughts of uneasiness, depression, anger, fear, worry, attack, insecurity, and so on. The Course says you can have a grievance or a miracle. You cannot have both. Why is that? Miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. If you are holding on to an unloving thought, a grievance, if you're holding on to that, it is literally a roadblock in front of the miracle, in front of the flow of perfect love, the holiness that is within you. It's like, I like to say, you have this beautiful altar, like, I don't know, Notre Dame or something inside you, this beautiful sanctuary. And the path up to it, there's all these boxes, like, you know, you're hoarding judgment, insecurity, depression, anger. There's all these really ugly, dirty, dusty boxes in front of the door to this incredible sanctuary. When we acknowledge our holiness and the innocence and holiness and perfection in someone else, that is the space of the miraculous. That is the shift in our perception that we need to get to in order to be a miracle worker. That is the space of alignment where we have rejoined with the mind of God. What would God be thinking about this person that I'm not thinking? I'm having unloving thoughts, and He wouldn't be thinking that. What am I thinking that's unloving about this person or myself that God wouldn't be thinking, would not even cross His mind? Woo! That one, I keep saying, but that one will just really snap you back into the truth of who you are and the truth of who someone else is. Just today, I was having unloving thoughts about someone I love dearly. Dearly. One of the people that I love the most. And my mind went there because it can, because it was tempted to do so. And I entertained that unloving train of thought for a little while. And it was hell. Did I feel good after? Did it make me, I don't know, did I get some kind of payoff from it? No, it just made me really sad and really upset and depressed. And so, this was my lesson. My unloving thoughts are keeping me in hell. Just give it up. Your salvation begins when you recognize your own holiness, that you have that power to liberate yourself from hell by shifting the way that you're thinking, shifting the way that you're seeing. What are you holding on to that's keeping you stuck in hell? The thoughts and the perceptions that you're hanging on to, the unloving thoughts, the fearful thoughts, the chaotic thoughts, the grievance. It's all deflecting, blocking the miracle, that the peace that you could have instead. You can choose to see things differently, to think differently, and to enter the realm of the miraculous, the loving and the peaceful. And then it gets really good and really transformative when you start to see not only your own holiness, but the holiness in other people, this person and that person. And then you become a miracle worker when you help those people to see their own inherent holiness themselves.